Alright, I'm ready. Alright. Hey everyone, how's it going? My name's Crayons. Finally got up here after a little bit of problems. First skip of the game right here, just skipping the tutorial level. Save a little bit of time. And first part of the game pretty much is just 3 or 4 minutes worth of cutscenes explaining backstory of the game. It's pretty enjoyable.
Once again, my gang and I had given Inspector Carmelita Fox the slip. I was surprised to see how well she took it. Finally, the secret police file I'd been searching for all these years. With this, I could avenge my family and regain possession of our most valued treasure. It all began when I was just a kid, bouncing on my father's knee. You see, I come from a long line of master thieves who kept all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book. The Thievius Raccoonus. Anyone who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief. Well, on the night I was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came unannounced to our door. My father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as the Fiendish Five overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the Thievius Raccoonus. Our family's manual of thieving greatness fell into their filthy hands. They tore the book into 5 pieces and split it up, each villain disappearing to the farthest corners of the world to commit dastardly crimes. Broken alone, I was dumped at the town orphanage. There I met 2 guys who became my lifelong buddies and trusted crew. Bentley, techno genius and strategist supreme, and Murray, part-time driver and full-time burden. Together we pledged to track down the Fiendish Five, avenge my father, and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus. I knew I was about to face the toughest test of my life. On this mission, I would either become a master thief like my ancestors before me, or fail and allow my family name to bite the dust.
So basically Sly's just trying to get his book back from a bunch of supervillains. Got to travel to like 5 Crash-esque hub worlds to get the pages back.
Use the left analog stick to move around the hideout and the X button to select things.
Got another cutscene coming up here to explain the first boss. Then we can get into some real action.
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on Sir Raleigh the Frog. As a young man, this hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege. On a whim, he tried his hand at a bit of piracy and found it to his liking. Raleigh, who quickly became addicted to crime, was brought into the Fiendish Five as chief machinist, where his evil tinkering genius rose to new heights. The last reported sighting of this mad machinist was off the soggy coast of the Isle o' Wrath, a small island uncomfortably situated in the middle of the perilous Welsh Triangle.
Alright, finally getting into some action now. So the first 2 hub worlds that we're going to play, they both have skips where you don't have to do all the levels, and then the final 3, you have to go through pretty much all the levels to get to the boss, but there's skips in all the individual levels. So every single world has the first 2 intro levels, which you have to do to get into the hub world. Right here we're trying to get a proxy so we can get up on this rock to try and skip a cutscene. Cutscenes in this game take forever, and Bentley the turtle loves to talk, so we try to skip when he talks. So we're going to do another cutscene skip here, which we'll try and run off the edge to avoid talking to him and having to stand still. Now we're going to do an out of bounds to skip even more cutscenes. So running on top of this rock, get to skip this waterfall bit and having to do a cutscene where it teaches you how to use the circle button, which is just down below. There's a short time save you can do here where you can jump to that cog on my right. Sorry, not the cog, like the drain. But I'm not going to do it. It's a bit risky. I don't want to repeat that whole bit. So at the end of each level you get keys, and basically you're trying to get the right amount of keys so you can unlock the level to get into the boss. But we can skip this for the first 2 worlds, which I'll show in a sec once we get into the hub world. Alright, so we load at the start of every hub world so we can get into the center quick. That way we don't have to walk in and listen to more cutscenes. We're also going to grab a charm here, which allows us to take damage without dying. Because the game is like, once you get hit, you die instantly. Charms are really valuable, and we use them in certain parts of the level to sort of abuse certain things. So there I got the guard to shoot out the electric generator, which allows us to get into the tunnel without having to complete the levels. Now we just did a pipe skip to jump up here and take out the guard. That way we can skip another cutscene, save some time. Right here we're going to do the skip to get into the boss fight. So basically we jump behind this cannon and do a series of jumps called super jumps, where you press square right before you land, and it basically registers that my my location was still in the cannon, so it shoots us back into the cannon and we can get the cutscene to go up to the boss early without having to do any of the levels. Also going to reset here once we jump into the boss fight, just because it's faster to reset the game and skip than talking. And it's a bit faster on PS3. I'm running on a backwards compatible PS3, so doing the reset game allows us to reset it quicker. On the PS2, you just press the off button on some of them. On the third boss, it isn't faster, so you have to sit through the cutscene for that. But on PlayStation, all of them are faster to just skip. So the first boss is pretty easy. Frog Raleigh. He basically just jumps around. Just dodges damage and then hit him once he's got small. Which I'll show once we get there. Oops. Also, this charm we have at the moment is pretty important to hold on to, so we need it to skip a cutscene on the next level. Right there, we hit him as he jumped on the way up, saves a bit of time, because when you knock him, you'll knock him into the water, but if you jump and hit him as he's going up, he'll be flying already and saves you about a second or 2 overall. Alright, here comes his last phase. He basically jumps down and spins around, and I'm just going to take damage here, because it makes his animation shorter, and I'm going to load the game to get my charm back and hit him at the same time. Oh, I missed it. Oops. Alright, I guess we have to redo the fight, sadly. I'm just going to do it the safe way this time. I forgot that the PlayStation load times are a little bit different. Alright, we're gonna do it again. I'm just gonna wait longer this time so I don't mess it up. There we go. Alright, now we can just view map out and head over to the next boss. Which we're rewarded with another 2-minute cutscene that we can't skip that talks about the boss, which is always fun. There's a couple more of these throughout the run, sadly.
It had been a while since I'd been back in the US. Next up.
Alright. Unfortunately, the game crashed right there. Sometimes it happens. So we're gonna have to go back and sit through the first few seconds of that cutscene. Sometimes you can get cutscene crashes on the first three cutscenes to the hub worlds. Don't normally get it on the 4th or 5th. It's usually really unlucky. One of the guys in the community was on a world record pace run and got a cutscene crash in the very last hub world. Alright, so we're just gonna go back. Hope it doesn't crash again. Sit through and watch a little bit more.
It had been a while since I'd been back in the US. Next up, the notorious mugshot. Ruthless muscle of the Fiendish Five. What he lacked in brains, he definitely made up for in brawn.
Pardon?
Turns out he wasn't always that way. He grew up as the run of the
What do you mean,
litter.
like... What, us?
A neighborhood
Oh,
weakling.
yeah, any questions, guys, feel free to ask.
The only friends he could turn to were usually found on the big screen.
Does anyone have any questions for the runner
First gangster,
about
and
the
he
run
knew
itself?
That's what he wanted to be. He spent the rest of his youth working real
How do you
hard
feel
get
in regards to
fueled on
spinning?
his dreams of great power
What's
and
your opinion?
I think spinning is by far the best
with
level in the
enough
game.
perspiration, he
It is
realized that dream.
very skill intensive, and I'm very much looking forward to
He
showing
became
you
a
all
hard-boiled,
how that'll
street-crawling,
turn out.
tough
I'm
as
sure it'll be a
nails
crowd favorite, that
ensuring that
level.
he'd never be kicked on or pushed around again. So he's holed up in Mesa City, huh? I've always wanted to go to
Alright,
that
finally
vibrant
coming to the end of
cool
this
town.
cutscene. Finally get back into some action. So as I said before, there's another hub world skip in this level, and after that we're doing pretty much all the levels. So this is probably the cooler of the cutscene skips. Sorry, not the cutscene skips, sorry, hub world skips. And we jump around there so we can skip another cutscene. Pretty much anything we do skip-wise is to skip cutscenes, because there's just so many in this game. Lucky we get to skip through most of them. Here I'm going to take another damage, do another damage thing to skip cutscenes. That way, that's why we have the charm from before, so we don't have to sit through another cutscene, although that one's not as long as most of them are. We need to grab this charm here because we need to use it to get into the boss fight a bit later. Get another key here. We'll get into the hub world. Alright, again, we're gonna load just to get into the center. Skipping the, most of this level is, pretty much, or relatively similar to how Raleigh goes. We have to get a proxy to get on top of this building in front of us. And, then we gotta do another series of jumps to get behind, the level entrance for the boss fight. He's just an out of bounds, so we can skip through all these levels. And we're gonna jump down on sort of the right-hand side and try and get behind the mustache. And skip through most of this level. So that gets us into the second boss fight. reset game again because Mugshot talks forever. He talks really slow. His monologue is actually pretty funny in the game, but I'm not going to sit here and put all you guys through more talking. So Mugshot's level is basically just running through and not getting shot. We have to hit all these mirrors to damage him because apparently our cane doesn't do any damage. Here we're not going to go to the last one first. If you hit him just before his animation happens and you hit the last mirror, you can skip a few seconds of him saying basically that he's hurt and we ruined his guns. Alright, this is the last phase of the level coming up here. Jumping around on like chandelier type thing. There's a jump here you can do to save a lot of time, but it's a bit risky, so I'm not going to try to do it. I'm just going to go the long way. Load the game as we hit the final one. Second boss done, we can get out. Head over to the third hub world, where it starts to get a bit interesting.
I figured out a way.
So now we got to start doing all the levels. Gets a bit more time consuming, but also there's a lot more enjoyable skips.
The third member of the Fiendish Five was the infamous voodoo priestess, Ms. Ruby. Born into a family of mystics, other children found her scary. Teaching herself to summon the undead provided what few friends she had. A career in crime allowed an adult Ms. Ruby to punish the world for fearing her as a child. Chief mystic for the Fiendish Five, her powers allowed them to break both the laws of man and nature at the same time. Yet despite the whirlwind success of her youth, she managed to slip into obscurity. Last known sightings claim she headed out of civilization and deep into the Haitian jungle.
So this hub world has some very enjoyable levels that often kill runs. Specifically, Piranha Lake. Chickens are both minigames that are very annoying to do, and if you don't get them pretty much perfect and get good RNG, then like at the high level runners, pretty much their runs die. So the skippy that saves about 20 seconds. That involves jumping down off here onto the rock that we just passed. It's very unreliable, so I'm just not going to do it, because chances are I'll die. There is another trick we can do though to get a charm nice and early. It's called the... Actually, I forgot the name, I'm not going to bother. But it involves sort of using momentum to land up on this ledge. There we go, get the charm. Skip a little bit of the level. Here we just have to hit the candles and then get the key. And the fun begins. So some of the hardest skips are probably in this hub world. Stuff like hook jump, which I'll show when they come up. Are a bit difficult to get down. Definitely difficult for me when I first started running this game. Got to keep a little bit of an eye on our coin count here, because usually if you time your picking up a coin's correct, you can grab a charm leading into the final levels, which helps a lot and makes it a lot safer to go for a bit of the riskier tricks. So the first level here is called Lair of the Beast. The normal level would involve you running around and getting chased by this massive serpent type thing, but we can skip pretty much all of it by doing a little out of bounds. Alright, so we're gonna get an out of bounds here. Do a little type thing using Sly's momentum to get up on this little side wall thing. Get a key nice and early, and you'll see we exit level when we grab keys. That's just because it's quicker than looking through the whole key animation. If you time it right, you can just before he hits it, you can press start, go exit level, and then get out with him still getting the key. Here comes Piranha Lake. This is a pretty annoying level. It's pretty much impossible to fail, but it is very difficult to get a good time in because you gotta constantly follow these fish around, and it's so RNG dependent. And we've tried so hard to find like some sort of pattern to it, but it just doesn't seem like there is. There's a skip for it too, but there's like pretty much a 1 in a million chance of getting it, where you just like sit in a corner and move really quickly and glitch through a wall to get to the end. So each hub world has 2 mini games in them each, and this is one of 2 mini games for Ms. Ruby's world. The other one is chickens, which is just as bad, if not worse. I just need one more. Alright, should be good. There it is. Alrighty. Head on out. Go to the next level, which is Grave Undertaking, which has the hook jump, which is, I'd say, one of the hardest tricks in the game to pull off. It involves using Sly's momentum to try and get on top of a branch, and then very quickly jump on top of sort of a ledge thing. It's a bit difficult to pull off. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get. We also get to pick up a second charm here, which gives us a golden charm. Golden charm's the highest sort of level you can get in the game. Anything after that, like if you pick up 100 coins, you just get a life instead. Alright, so this is the hook jump here. So what you have to do is swing on this hook thing and then land on top of the wooden part and then jump on top. There we go. I didn't do it the normal way, but still managed to get it. There's another sort of tough skip coming up in a second as well that I'm probably not going to get. It's called Bone Jump. Involves sort of swinging on a bone and jumping at the right time to keep all the Sly's momentum and jump forward. What I did there was just a little out of bounds to save us a little bit of time. That way we don't have to sit through the animation of him opening the new area. Alright, so this is bone jump coming up here. Alright, I got it lucky. Usually, it's a little bit more difficult. You have to make sure you don't hit the spikes in front or you'll take damage. Saves a lot of time though, so pretty much everyone does it. And you can get it pretty consistently with practice. Lucky there's a few backups that you can use using the charm. You can take damage and then jump on top of the spikes. Now that we managed to do that without taking any damage, we can take these double charms into chickens, which will speed it up much more. Also give us a little bit of a buffer going into the next hub world too. Make sure we don't lose too much time from taking damage or not passing levels because we've taken too much damage and stuff like that. So this next level is probably one of the most boring levels in the game. It's an auto scroller for the first half, and then you just run around shooting stuff in this little machine. This machine's also what is used in spinning, which is a bit later on. It's not very fun. But yeah, basically sit in this ship the first half of the level, shoot ghosts, take out towers, make sure you don't die. Yeah, it's a bit of a slow level, usually takes a few minutes, a bit of downtime though during a run, it's not as intensive. Especially considering some of the later levels are very full on.
While there's a bit of a quiet time, we'll do a quick plug. So we are ASM, or Australian Speedrunners Marathon, at PAX 2017. We're raising money for Child's Play. So all throughout this event, you can donate either through the stream or in person in that little donation box to my right, your left. The donations all go to Child's Play, but everything else we do in terms of donations also go to incentives to alter or add content to the marathon. So an example is the next run, Dust Force. You can donate enough money to make him do the hardest level in the game. It's a bonus level. It's a demonstration of true skill in the game. Very impressive to watch, especially if you've played the game before. To do that, you just need to donate and say, I want to put my money towards the Dust Force bonus level. Once it hits $50, we'll confirm it, lock it in, and it will happen after the run. To quickly explain what Child's Play is, it's a charity focused on connecting children in hospitals with games and entertainment. All donations go straight to fulfilling wish lists for sick children in over 140 hospitals around the world. And the kindness of gamers makes this possible. As always, thank you always for your help in however way, just being in the crowd, watching us on the stream, everything.
Sadly, the only way to finish this level, you gotta kill all 3 of the towers. Gotta sit through the key animation too. If you time a pause correctly, just as he gets off, you can skip the key animation, but the timing is very tight, and it's not worth it to sit through the animation. Not the animation, sorry, the whole level again. So, here coming up's chickens. Basically, we have to run around, kill chickens while not getting killed by these other chickens that explode. It's really annoying. If you don't have a charm, it's especially difficult because it's very easy to swing your cane and then accidentally clip one of the exploding chickens. General strategy is just to sort of run around in this circle-esque fashion. Spam square, hope you pick up enough chickens. See there, I sort of clipped it. Lucky I had the charms. I'll just load at the end of the game and grab them back. This is the last level though before we get to the... Oh god. Alright, we have no charms, I need to play a bit more carefully. This is the last level before we get to the third boss, which is basically a knockoff Dance Dance Revolution level. I didn't make it very well because the most effective method of beating that level is to just spam the buttons, and it's like pretty easy. Whoops. So I loaded the level there so I could keep the charms for the later levels. Just a bit safer to make sure I don't waste too much time to deaths or anything. Alright, once we get in, we're gonna reset the game as well, so we don't have to sit through Ms. Ruby talking. It's a very slow talker. So there's two main sort of skips to this boss fight. Because in the first bit you gotta jump through pillars and then sort of run back to Miss Ruby, and she has another long monologue. We can sort of skip that by doing an out of bounds and a death abuse. Basically, if you can get behind her and jump in the water and die, you can skip straight to the second phase. Also, there's sort of 3 phases to the Dance Dance Revolution part, and we can skip the final one if we can get a double hit on Miss Ruby, which involves sort of loading the game and then hitting her at the right spot twice while it's loading, and it counts as a sort of like a finished level. Alright, so here we're going to do a little out of bounds by jumping on this sort of like tree looking thing, and jumping up on this bone tooth. It's sort of like an area you can run through. Because I've got 2 charms, I'm going to run through and I'm going to have to burn the charms and then jump back down. But once we get behind and we finally die, we'll go straight to the Dance Dance Revolution part. Basically, I'm going to be furiously tapping my controller, so if anyone complains about it being too loud, I'm sorry. There's the chickens too from the chickens level, dancing. Alright, here's the second phase of the DDR part, but we're going to make it the last phase. So to explain what I'm about to do, because I'm probably not going to be able to explain it while I'm doing it, I'm going to jump down in front of Miss Ruby, load the game, and then spam square to try and get 2 hits on her. That'll basically mean like we do 2 points of damage instead of 1, and it allows us to skip the final phase. If I mess it up, it means we're going to have to redo the whole boss fight, so fingers crossed everything goes smoothly. Oh, I messed it up. Alright, we have to do it again. Sorry, guys. Instead of trying to do that trick, I'm just gonna go through the whole boss fight instead. I just don't think I've ever done the final phase of Miss Ruby's fight before. So hopefully it isn't too bad. Oh. Okay. So apparently I hit it twice there, so that ended the boss fight. I didn't know you could do that without loading the game. That was an accident. So we'll just reset the game and move on to the next boss fight. That was a pleasant surprise because I really did not want to sit through the final phase of that boss fight. I don't think we get our charms back, but that's okay. I hope that counted as finishing it. Fingers crossed.
Travel plans to
Alright, we're good. Alright, sitting through another cutscene now. I don't think Panda King's a very long one. I just think it's one of the shortest ones.
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on the Panda King.
We have received a $50 donation. Hey everyone, just tune.
Born penniless,
Seems to be
he was fascinated
put
by
this
the
donation
fireworks
towards the
rich noblemen set
bonus
every
level.
New Year's.
Thank you
He
very
spent
much for the
a decade
donation.
learning the art.
You did not specify your name, so we'll thank you
But when he
anonymous.
tried to offer his fireworks to the noblemen, they couldn't see past his shabby clothes and chased him away. Humiliated, the Panda King took revenge on those who shunned him by using the very tools of his art for crime. The Fiendish Five recruited him as their demolitions expert, and from then on, his explosive touch became feared worldwide. He's rumored to be perfecting some new firework technique high in the unstable Kunlun Mountains of western China.
So fun fact actually, Panda King's world was meant to be the first one, and you'll sort of see when we get to the boss fight, it is probably the easiest boss fight in the game. I think it was meant to be in place with Raleigh. I'm not sure if they were meant to have swapped or it would have pushed them all backward. But Panda King's world was meant to be the first. I think it's probably one of my favorite out of all of them because the look and the area is just very nice. So we don't have a charm at the moment, but that's okay. Just play really safe. Gonna do a skip here for a cutscene. Jump out of bounds. Just to avoid talking to Bentley again. Camera gets a little bit wonky, it's a bit hard to follow. Now we can do a little skip here that saves a little bit of time. Usually meant to go around that rock to the right, but we just jumped over the rock to the left. Managed to save a little bit of time. Alright, so it says we have 80 coins in the top left corner, which is a pretty good amount. Should hopefully get a charm in time for the final levels. Unlike the first 4 hub worlds, the final world isn't exactly a hub world. It's sort of like a linear type thing where you have to go through a bunch of levels on your way to the final boss, which is a massive robotic bird named Clockwork. So when you load into hub worlds or other parts of the level, if you spam X, you can sometimes get a a catapult which shoots you really high up into the air, and you can get one on that level there if you spam X. Sadly, I didn't get it, but that can save you a little bit of time by just pretty much shooting you really high up in the air, and you can make it straight to the first level. So this level, we basically follow Murray around and make sure he doesn't get killed by the monkeys. When you played the level enough, you can sort of figure out where the spawns are and you can shoot them before they really rock up. If you do it quick enough, then Murray won't have like a jumping animation. But sometimes you can't really get them in time. Forgot about that one. This level's sort of long. Once you even get to the end, you still have to kill some more that are running around on the top of that that sort of temple-looking thing. Sadly, there isn't any skips for this level or anything. Sometimes you can get a glitch where Mario will get up to this point here and he'll just fall off. It doesn't happen very often, but when I was practicing the other day, it happened. It was pretty disappointing. We don't really get to see Murray much in this Sly game. You only really see him for this level and the levels where you're driving around in the car. He's a little bit more active in the earlier levels, but we sort of skip them. So usually you'd think the level would be done here, but then he gets up to the temple and the alarm sounds. We got to do a little bit more. Didn't see what that one was. So out of all the Sly games, there's actually 4 Sly games out, and Sly 1 is the shortest of them all. The world record currently is about 55 minutes by GroovySyn, and the other 3 Slys are all 5 hours plus, which is a pretty big difference compared to the first game. Our next level we're going to go to is called Unseen Foe. Many runs have been lost to this level. There's a few skips and stuff that aren't exactly difficult, but they're sort of deceptively tricky. I was trying to jump on the box around there, but I didn't really get the angle for it, so I decided against it. So we're going to skip most of the level here by jumping on this and smacking the guy in the head, and we can sort of miss around most of the level that goes around the other side. You can do a little skip here as well, so you can jump on this sort of railing to the right. skip a little bit of platforming to the front. There's a whole little bit to the level off to the right where you take this rail, but we can skip it by jumping up here.
Sly, this pagoda is some kind of huge...
This next level is probably one of the easier levels in the game, platforming-wise. It's sort of similar to the other level, but it doesn't really have any big skips in it. There's one small skip that's not too difficult to get, and the rest of it's pretty much just running through the level as quick as you can. But the level following this is the famous spinning level, which is the bane of every Sly runner's existence. Basically, you sit in a corner and hope RNG is nice to you while spinning. So we'll get to that soon. That's going to be fun to watch. Fingers crossed it doesn't take too long. Sometimes it can take you, like, it'll be instant. Sometimes it can take you like 5 minutes to get it, so fingers crossed the RNG is on our side today. Don't have to sit through it for too long. I got a charm there, which is sort of nice. I would have liked to have it about a level later. I could have avoided some charm, sorry, not charm, sorry, some coin pickups there, but that's okay. So we're gonna do a little out of bounds here, similar to what we did in Miss Ruby's level, to skip the animation of opening the next half. We're gonna run around and into spinning. So basically we're going to sit in this corner here and just spin until we get vaulted off to our left.
Someone with some serious high-tech skills must be providing these guys with hardware. The fifth member of the Fiendish Five, perhaps?
It is pretty much completely RNG dependent. We tried looking into ways of finding how to make it consistent, but
In the direction you want to shoot.
there was really nothing we could find.
Blow down those heavy security doors.
I'm going to reload. Sometimes it just doesn't want to work. Reloading sometimes helps. Because the level's really long, pretty much you could take like 2 minutes doing this and it'd still be faster. It's a very hard level to do. It's similar to the Ghastly Voyage level. Almost got it.
Serious high-tech skills must be providing these guys with hardware. The fifth member of the Fiendish Five, perhaps? Remember, use the left analog stick to move and aim the right analog stick in the direction you want to shoot.
Yeah, there we go. Took a little while, but we got there. As I said before, the most enjoyable level in the game by far. The amount of people who have lost runs to this, it's insane. If you get an instant spinning on a really good run, like, good luck beating it. I think this might be the first time I get to see Carmelita in this run too, this far in. This is Jewel by the Dragon. There's two sort of skips in this level. The first one, we're going to try skip a cutscene where Carmelita talks forever. So we're going to jump up here and try and stick to the left-hand side as to not trigger the cutscene. Oh no.
Freeze, raccoon.
Oh,
freeze
Darn.
and my heart warms at the very sight.
I almost had it. I jumped a bit too far, so I guess we just have to sit through it.
Here in China, but I'm sure it can't be good for whoever owns this place.
You must only have eyes for me if you're too blind to see what's going on around here.
All I see is a pathetic thief who's escaped justice for far too long.
I'm proud to be a thief, especially when I'm stealing from a vicious extortionist like the Panda King. Open your eyes, detective. These quaint temples are a front for an illegal explosive.
Sly and Carmelita just really badly flirt with each other throughout the whole game.
And none of you can escape justice.
Till sort of the end, where they sort of like band together to take down Clockwork. The end cutscene's a little bit weird as well. Because he sort of like kisses her and then handcuffs her to a pole or something. This level's pretty linear. We're gonna get to a skip in a second, sort of like a checkpoint abuse, where we'll swing our cane to unlock a checkpoint and then die straight after so we can skip this right half of the level. Basically, we're gonna jump on this, swing our cane. Once it flashes, then we know we've got the checkpoint and the controller vibrates as well. We can skip through a little bit of the level. So this level can be a little bit annoying. Carmelita will sometimes shoot out these icicles as you're jumping onto him. Sometimes she has really great aim. Most of the time she has terrible aim. There we go. This is the second last level of this hub world too. The next one, we're going to do something called race skip, where we're basically going to speed boost over a ledge to skip most of a race. And then we'll fight Panda King, and then we'll be on to the final world. So race skip has this, the start of the level has a really long dialogue where Sly's talking to Murray and telling him to be careful.
Murray, what are you doing down there?
Well, I'm minding my post when I notice a snow cone stand, and I think to myself,
Murray just really wants a snow
keep
cone.
your energy up. So I hurry over here, and then all of a sudden, monkeys are everywhere, bugging me to race them 3 times around this track for a key.
Could use the key. Think you could take him?
Come on, Sly, they're a pack of monkeys. How can I lose?
All right, remember, steer with the left stick and press square to use any nitro boost you collect. Keep clear of those icy patches.
Thanks for the advice, Sly, but trust me, I got this under control.
Alright. So race skip's at the start of the level. We're going to grab this boost here. We're going to drive up against this wall and try and boost up that ramp there. There we go. Restart race. Alright, we're on to the second last boss fight of the game, Panda King. By far the easiest. I must have lost my charm. And once again, we're going to reset the game for the final time to skip a cutscene while the talking. So out of all the worlds, Clockworks is by far the fastest. Takes around 10 to 11 minutes on a good run. Has a few hard skips, mainly being Bentley skip, which is pretty difficult to do. And there's another jump called Clockwork Jump at the very end, which is a bit difficult too, and very risky. Since I don't have a charm, I don't think I'll attempt to do it. I'll just play out the final level as you normally would. Basically, Panda King has only three different moves. He's got this fiery wheel, palms, thunder, and then a booming chop. Booming chop's a bit annoying because you sort of actually have to get out of the way for it. The other two can either stand in the same spot or just jump. Basically, if you try land in the middle of this walkway here, is the it's like the fastest way. If you spam circle, you can land very close to the front. Saves a bit of time. That's Panda King gone. I hit too quick, so I couldn't load game there. So we'll just reset and head into the final hub world, just Clockwork. Also a pretty cool looking world as well. It's based in some volcano in Russia, as it says in the intro cutscene. I think out of all the bosses, Clockwork's probably the coolest. Pretty menacing. I believe he's in the other games too. Like I think he's a focal point in the Sly 2, which is about collecting Clockwork parts and stuff like that.
Okay, partner.
We were on our way to the Krakkarov volcano in Russia. While looking over what little information
Hello?
we had on the final member of the Fiendish Five,
We have
I
a
began to
$10
notice
donation
something.
that says, "Hello, PAX Aus,
In
it's
the
me,
four parts of the
J.R.
Thieves'
Pretty.
Raccoons
Please take a
recovered
moment
so
while I
far.
make the
Several of the
human
pictures
text
depict a shadowy owl-like figure, which
W
looks very
W
similar
W
to the
W
police officers of the mysterious Clockwork. Is this a strange
Everyone have a
coincidence,
fun time at
or is there
PAX.
something I'm missing?
So this is the final level. Final levels. Intro level is sort of shooting out these birds out of the sky, avoiding mines. Pretty simple stuff. It can be a little bit difficult on your first couple of times because it's a little bit random. You can't really aim in the same spot and get everything, but there's a few tricks you can do to make it a little bit easier.
Bingo! My scanners indicate the Clockwork is holed up in that owl-shaped tower.
First things first, we've got hostile robo-falcons at 12.
Basically, we just gotta shoot them out of the sky and make sure we don't get killed. If they like dive to the front and you don't kill them, they come a second time and they're like charged up, and if you get hit by that, then you take damage.
Tower, it's a giant death ray. Sly, take out those rockets.
Lucky for us, we can shoot these rocks out before they can hurtle down. You can shoot them while you're sort of coming in after shooting the birds. You can sort of rotate the camera here and try and take out those mines as well if you need to. I wasn't exactly quick enough. When I first started running, I used to always die to this bit and these rocks before I could figure out you could shoot the mines from ages away. Made it a little bit easier.
We're getting swarmed.
Oh, that was close.
Shooting, Sly. Looks like we're in the clear.
This next level is another minigame, sort of similar to Chickens and Fish. We basically play as Murray in the van, and we have to pick up these computers. Apparently, there's only a certain amount of computers, he says, but I think he says you're meant to be the first to 60. Yeah, 119 computers, but even after you get like 60 to 59, computers will keep dropping. So he's lying, sadly. Get to take out the slugmers as well. minigame's normally either really easy or really hard. Sometimes the sluggers are really quick and always beat to the computers. Most of the time it's pretty bearable. The next skip as well is called Bentley skip, which is one of the tougher skips in the game. We have to sort of get a vault and skip through one of the worst levels in the game. Bentley's only level, I believe. But there's not much room for error, because if you mess up, you have to sit through a cutscene, a really long cutscene, and then go through the level. Nice. The last computer you need to try and get close to the door, because it's just a bit quicker to drive to. Because you don't control the driving to the door, it automatically does it. And if you end up on like the sides or something, the car will just drive into the wall until you get there. See, you bumped into the wall. If you're against the wall, it's a lot worse. He just drives into the wall until he gets over. Alright, here comes Bentley skip. Pretty tough skip. Alright, that wasn't planned. So basically we have to jump onto this rail here and then jump onto the turret to our right and vault up into the room and land on top of that spinning thing to not get the cutscene. I don't trust myself to get enough height to make it. If you miss it, you drop down and you've got to sit through a really long cutscene. It's also very easy to soft lock in this spot. Alright, here we go. Alright, we got it, nice. So we're up to the final 3 levels of the game. This level we're shooting out sluggers trying to take out Sly. I don't think this level was created very well, because those things at the top, Sly's meant to stop at him and get attacked by the sluggers, but if you shoot him out early, he just runs straight through without taking any damage. Alright, we'll watch Sly just to make sure he doesn't take any damage. Sometimes the slugs do funny things and they'll like go flying off or something like that.
Nice job, Raccoon.
Alright, second last level of the game, Sinking Peril. This level is infamous for dropping inputs. There are so many places where it'll just register the wrong input because everything's sort of on top and around each other. It's very easy to hit something and then accidentally land in the wrong spot. We do a little hook dance here to skip a little bit of the level. And we jump on one of these cogs and jump up to that rail above us and skip a little bit more of the level. The rest of this level is pretty normal. Play through it normally. I think this is one of the funner platforming levels in the game. I definitely enjoyed it in my first couple of playthroughs. Alright. Final level of the game, Clockwork boss fight. Not too difficult of a level. It is a bit long though, and you have to sit through a pretty long monologue from Clockwork, basically saying about how he's so much better than your family and everything. Basically, the aim of the level is to shoot the parts that have been electrified by Carmelita's gun. You can sort of pre-fire them a little bit as well, save a bit of time. And there's 3 sort of phases to the level too. The first 2 are up in the air shooting, and then the last one is a little platforming bit.
Nice shooting, Sly! You got him! Wow, that's one tough owl.
I don't get it. You're so familiar with my family. You must have known my father had a son. If you hated the Coopers so much, why did you let me live when you stole the Thievius Raccoonus?
Because I wanted to show the world that without your precious book, the Cooper line was nothing.
Ah, well, there's where you're wrong. The Thievius Raccoonus doesn't create great thieves. It takes great thieves to create the Thievius Raccoonus.
Enough.
Pretty solid line there from Sly.
It ends here. I will finish you like I finished your father. And the Cooper line will be less than the only option for me.
So this phase basically involves just avoiding these rings. There is a very low chance, but sometimes the rings can come back on screen and hit you. We call it in the community getting purple ringed. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened to people before on really important runs.
You cannot escape me. My intellect is refined. My experience is greater.
Alright, that's the second phase done. Coming up on the third and final phase, which is just platforming. As long as you play a little bit safe, then
Now's your only chance,
everything should be
Sly.
right.
You've got to get to his head and destroy it before his auto
There is a skip here you can do that saves a lot of time called Clockwork Skip. Basically involves jumping from a spot I was before over. Saves probably 20-30 seconds, but it is very risky, and I'm not going to try it without a charm.
Lay. Feet together.
Alright, we're going to jump across from here, jump onto Clockwork's tail and hit him in the head. It'll be time on the final hit. And time. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus. Make sure you stick around, there's some good runs coming on later.
I snatched that last piece of the Thievius Raccoonus from Clockwork's claw. I had taken down each member of the Fiendish Five: Lolly, Mugshot, Ms. Ruby, the Panda King, and finally